this confusion about God, which is immediately a form of idolatry, because now they're saying it came from nothing, chances are God, right? Processes, that's our God. Random, that's our God, right? We've made a lot of this stuff. We're God, right? Whatever. All these other things, this idolatry, this all leads to all the other confusions, but in particular, sexual confusion. In particular, sexual confusion. You will end up in a place where some ranking official in your land will say, I don't know what a woman is. I'm not a biologist. Which we're there. Oh, we're there. Right? We don't know what a man is. We don't know what a woman is. We don't know what marriage is. We don't know what sexuality is. We don't know what a family is. We don't know what life is. Why? Because we rejected the Creator. Because we have embraced a confusion about the distinction between Creator and all that He has made. But of course, it doesn't stop with sexuality. Romans 1 says that's kind of its big manifestation. When a culture has decided we will not worship the Maker, which inevitably there's not an empty spot there. It means now you're worshiping some part of creation. It says, therefore God gives them over to all kinds of uncleanness. And the kind of uncleanness He gives them over to is sexual confusion, homosexuality, and everything else. Now, it doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop there, because then if you keep reading Romans 1, all the other confusions come too. Disobedience to parents, bad attitudes, liars, all the rest of it comes at the rest of that chapter. All the confusions flow from that fundamental confusion, but the sexual confusion is a particular indicator. God says, when you see people celebrating this, think idolatry. When you see this being celebrated, think idols. That's what happens. That's what they do. They confused God and creation, and now they don't know what a man is, they don't know what a woman is, and they don't know what they're for. Okay? That's where that confusion comes from. This also includes the confusions of greed, that somehow being selfish and self-centered is good for business. It's not. It includes business scams, like the silversmith business, right? They're selling silver trinkets to people that are worthless and making apparently a killing. Right? That's what we call a scam. It's like the worst pyramid scheme ever, right? Buy this little silver trinket and you'll have more babies. Buy this silver trinket and you'll have a better harvest. Buy this silver trinket and you'll have good sailing winds across the Mediterranean, right? It's a scam. Idolatry creates business scams, and idolatry creates every form of people pleasing. Again, just think about we're going to talk more about the mob here in a second, but you've got this mob of people, and over half of them, more than half of them, don't know why they're there. Why are they there? Well, people pleasing. They're afraid of being left out. They want to make sure they know what the latest thing is. Everybody's excited about something. Why are you here? I don't know. I want to make sure I have something to talk about after dinner. Right? Whatever it is. It's people pleasing. Proverbs 29:25 says that the fear of man is a snare. The fear of man is a snare, but he that trusts in the Lord will be safe. Notice too that riots are commonly the language of confused idolaters. Confused idolaters frequently break out into riots, and this goes together. Their idols are deaf and blind, and so they must be awakened, quote unquote, right? How do you get a piece of rock to act for you? Get a mob. And then after the mob has burned down a few police stations and a few people are dead, you can turn around and say, hey, look what our God did. Look what our God did. Well, the God didn't do that. You did it, right? You violent people. But that's what they do. That's what they do. Even when they're attributing to these gods, these false gods, and they attribute this action to these false gods, including gods named things like democracy and equality and justice, right? Why are you burning buildings down? For justice. You're confused, right? You think vandalism is helping justice? You're committing crimes, right? And you say, well, do Christians believe in equality? Do Christians believe in justice? Absolutely, as defined by God's word. As defined by God's word, yes, we want those things. But what they've done is they've taken this word, they've filled it with whatever innocuous, vague, bland-sounding ideas, and then they go out and they burn down buildings. Then they go out and yell and scream and demand things, right? This is their gods. This is how they serve their gods. When you see mobs and riots in the streets, you should think idols. Right? Because their idols can't do anything, they have to do it. Because their idols have no eyes to see. They have no mouths to speak. They have no hands to help. They're useless, worthless pieces of rock. Then they have to get violent. They have to force it. They have to make it happen because their God is not alive. Idolatry is inherently violent. But remember the demoniac in the tombs. The demoniac in the tombs had the legion of demons. Talk about confused, right? We probably call him schizophrenic, right? Just mad. And could not be bound. But when Christ drove the demons out, the people of the city came and found that man clothed and in his right mind. Idolatry creates that kind of enslaved confusion, but the true worship of Christ brings clarity. And we need to think this way and see this clearly in our land, right? These mobs, these confused mobs, these people that have been brainwashed with all kinds of confusions, that's what they've got going on, right? They've been told that they can find themselves in idols, which are just lies, and they need Christ. But when Christ comes, he drives out the demons, and he clothes us, and he returns to us our right minds. That's what Christ does. That's what Christ does.